Hey everyone, welcome back to the All Music Matters on That podcast. I'm your host, Brian. Today, welcome to a very special guest. We got Trey over here, and we got our boy, Chud Wretched. How y'all doing today, brothers?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. And I guess, where are y'all hailing from, actually? Are you guys in the same neck of the woods? Because it looks like Trey's out for a walk somewhere.
Chud, you can go first.
Yeah, so I'm from Central New York, actually.
Pretty cool. And I guess, Trey, where are you at outside of being near a park? And looks like someone playing baseball.
I'm here in Belleville, I think, New Jersey, or Nutley, one of the two. Something like that. Cool. Belleville is where I'm at, where I'm from, where I'm living.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I guess, how you guys been recently? I guess, Chud, what's new?
Oh, living the nightmare, man. Trying to stay afloat in this crazy world that seems to be enveloping every day before our eyes, just getting more and more nutty. Just trying to, provide for the family and keep this little hobby of mine I got going.
I see, yeah. Yeah, you ain't lying. And actually, you've been quite quiet on Facebook recently. I haven't seen too many posts from you because I know he was always one like posting those religious memes and stuff. So
yeah, I've kind of taken a step back from that and actually helping out another fellow band with some of their content creation and stuff like that. I'm actually running like 5 pages right now. I don't understand how it happened. I've got my own personal musician account. I've got my shit posting group. I've got another band's punk posting group that's As the City Sleeps. And now I've been asked by Pharmacide to give them a hand with their shit posting group called The Farm. So yeah, I'm trying to keep up with my page while helping them get theirs to grow as well. So that's why you haven't been seeing too much from me lately. I'm just a super, super busy dude, and it just happened pretty much overnight.
Yeah, I can see why. Actually, you were part of that Pizza Cult group, right? On Facebook?
Yeah. Well? Yep. Also doing stuff for Pizza Cult. That got kind of quiet a little bit. That's my buddy Rob from Anger Overdoses page. But yeah, so I guess essentially I'm helping to run 6 pages.
Yeah, he keeps us up busy, so I guess it's a good thing. But also, as you said, a nightmare. So it's almost like, are you supposed to be living a dream? So
yeah, well, that's why I say living the nightmare, because I dreamt hella better than this, dude.
Okay, fair enough. I guess, Trey, how you been recently? I guess, how'd you meet Chud here?
I don't know exactly. I think I met him through Star Uni. Is that right, Chud?
Yeah, because I happened to say that I wanted to see a collab from you guys, and yeah, that kind of started the friendship from there.
Yeah, it was over Facebook.
That's pretty cool. And I guess you guys put out some new music recently, so I guess if you guys want to elaborate on that real quick, I guess I'm assuming it's Chud, because I'm assuming he put it all together. I guess who wants to do the honor of introducing, I guess, your newest single?
That's all you, Trey. Take it away, bud. How did I come to you on this one?
Okay, so my memory's terrible with some things. Like I don't remember exactly how we like the process of coming to start it. I think it was just a matter of I knew that he did vocals, and I was like, hey, maybe we could do something together. And he just sent me some random stuff, and I think I just kind of threw it into a project that I had already had going. And he's like, wow, that sounds really good. And I think we kind of just went from there. So I did the electronic like production for the computer parts of it, and then he wrote the original lyrics and did the screamo vocals of all the stuff I sampled in there, which is super killer. The lyrics are astonishing. I didn't even know what one of the words meant. I had to look it up. So smart.
I'll say Nefarious. That's what it was based off of.
Nefarious. Oh, the intro was from a show called Nefarious. Have you seen that? I've never actually seen that, but
I'd never seen it, but I I would say it was kind of clever throwing it in there too. So I guess, Chad, how'd you come up with the idea of Nefarious? I guess you just stumbled upon it one day.
Yeah, I actually I just Googled I simply Googled angels and demons like conversing in YouTube to find like something cool to use to sample them. That's what I had found. I found a conversation between them, and I thought it was really like conceptually powerful and really complex, and thought it really fit the concept of the track really well. So I took it. Never seen the show though, but looks like a really cool show.
Yeah, actually, it was a Christian movie as well, or at least they label it as that on Wikipedia. So it's from sort of Christian media, to say the least, here too. But the other thing was, I thought another cool one would have been something with Constantine talking with the devil after he had slit his wrist open, and I guess it was one way to get his attention to come in and just like talk to him about this and that. I forget how it all went down. That was a long time ago when I watched that movie. But
I don't know, man. It sounds like another collab, Trey.
Oh my god, yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen that movie as well. That's with Keanu Reeves, right?
Keanu Reeves, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
Tell we should do that. I don't want him, so let's see why.
Yeah, no, I think it's absolutely wild how he just randomly found this, excerpt from a show that he nor I keep forgetting, like, now that I know the premise of it, and just from using the sample for the track alone, it kind of has me interested in the whole premise of what the show is about and stuff like that. But how he just simply came across this and literally set the entire tone for the track with just something that he randomly found was just the dopest thing that I've ever had happen in a collab. I mean, I haven't done a collab in a very long time. So this is actually my first getting back out there into the scene. I've been helping to support other indie artists and stuff like that. And I kind of felt like it was time to jump out and be like, hey, by the way, I'm not only a supporter, but I'm also a musician. So this is my way to get back into the light of that industry, if you will. But totally dope how, again, he just randomly stumbled upon this and set the entire tone for the track. It blew my mind.
Bring it back into the light, pun intended.
Yeah, no other descriptive word for it.
Yeah. But it's all good though too. And thank you so much, Trey, for the work you've done there, mate. So it's good to have you on here. So, yeah. But you guys get to elaborate more on the music and everything else here in just a little bit here too, as well as what's going on in your personal lives. But I'll welcome you both here to my podcast. And the way it's going to work is sent you over the questions right here. So let's get to know you more, both as the musicians, but also as the individuals as well here too. So I guess first off, who's the oldest between you two? We'll go by seniority.
That's definitely going to be me.
All right. So Chud, here, you can go first. So let's start at the beginning right here, and tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? I guess, how did you become a musician?
Yeah, so very, very young in age. I think I was still in high school when I kind of came about, hey, I've been listening to music pretty much since I was like 4 years old. I can still recall the first video that I ever saw in my memory was by Metallica. It was the One video. And I remember being so young and not really understanding what was going on, or the fact of thinking to myself, like, how in the world is this dude talking if he's asleep? You know what I mean? So it kind of opened my eyes, I guess, at a very young age that, hey, music, like, right on. And as I got older, a lot of trauma and stuff happened in my life when I was younger, that music became a way for me to kind of express who I was and also kind of get through the things that I had been through in my life at so young. So kind of through word of mouth, back in the 90s, that's what we had. We didn't have social media or anything like that. We literally just used our words of mouth, and wound up landing a band in high school. And that helped a lot. We actually wound up winning the high school that I went to, did like a battle of the bands every year, and we actually wound up winning it. So that was pretty cool. And kind of fell off from there. I was taking it seriously in a sense of the personal issue that I had, but I guess not serious to the point of wanting to take it really anywhere. That didn't really happen until I guess kind of recently, would have to have been during the pandemic when I made the conscious decision of, wow, the music didn't go anywhere, the industry didn't go anywhere, and then you see all the support that we have, all these groups now that support each other, like banded together and promote your music and stuff like that, and it kind of just threw me right back into what that all was, but now at a different level than just word of mouth. Now it's actually just a series of points and clicks and reach and everything like that, and it took off for me from there. It's wild how quick it happened.
I would say, and also heart emojis as well, or even those. It's not so much actually hearts now. I think it's more like the little cuddly guy that's always like cuddling, doing like this.
Yeah, the care emoji. Yeah, that's my thing. Everybody does the heart and the thumbs up. It's like, nope, I'm gonna stand out and just give everybody care reacts.
I was like, you gave me a dark heart there, man. What the hell?
Yeah, everybody's doing the red hearts and stuff like that. Why not? Being Chud Wretched. It's not all puppy dogs and rainbows. Let's still do the supportive, still get the reach out there, but make it my own and do a black heart.
He's a guy that definitely loves the Targaryen dragons and everything else here too. He's probably more the greens than the blacks. So, let's see why. If you know House of the Dragon, yeah.
Yeah.
But first off, in all seriousness though too, I'm sorry for any drama. I guess any sort of things that really happened in your life that were sort of a bad impact. But it looks like you're doing well there, mate. So good to have you around.
So. Right on. Thank you.
I guess Trey, let's hear your story real quick.
Oh, yeah. Okay. What was the question? What was how did I get into music?
Right. That, and I guess how did you become a musician? And I guess if you want to list like what your role is, go ahead.
Yeah. So it's actually very, very similar to Chud's story. From a very young age, I was exposed to music through my parents. They listened to a lot of different types of music, from like Enigma to the 80s rock bands, like Def Leppard and to rap, hip hop. So I was exposed to a little bit of everything. So they listened to techno a little bit. So I kind of was in a music household for a while, and when music came in school, I was hooked from then on. Music was my favorite class every time. I looked forward to it every day. I excelled in it. I wanted to do everything I possibly could. I took band, did the baritone. I did percussion. I did the violin in the orchestra. I did choir. To sing, I love to sing. So I've always just really been into music. And it was at 13 years old that I first heard my actual like electronic music song. And lo and behold, it was a hardcore track, a super hardcore, rough and aggressive track. And from then I was hooked. I knew that was it right then and there. And then after that, I got exposed to more different kinds of electronic music and kind of put the hardcore in the background, like house and dubstep and stuff, and kind of like found what I liked and didn't like. And I ended up I really liked all forms of art. Period. Anything creative. I think it directly reflects and symbolizes life itself in many, many ways. Any way you can perceive it, that's true 100%. I think so for everybody. I actually, to kind of get a little bit of dark, I was in addiction for a long time, like really bad, with like methamphetamines and heroin and stuff. Doing good now in recovery. In recovery, I mean, it's different for everybody. But at one point in my life, my worst point in my life, I was in like a psychosis kind of thing, and I kind of like, long story short, lost my sense of self, my identity, and I actually had found it again through sound. So it just kind of solidified that sense of purpose and knowing of who I am in regards to like sound and music itself, and kind of just like what's the word? Kind of like everything clicked at that time, and I was like, okay, this is what I need to do to stay alive and to enjoy life and not go down this horrible path and end up dead or worse, you know. So, and then I kind of just, you know, I realized that hardcore was what I loved because I've been through so much dark stuff, and hardcore kind of has hardstyle has that kind of that sense of both the light and the dark. You can kind of whatever you're feeling, you can kind of tap into that at that time. And there's a lot of that in every kind of genre of music, which I appreciate. But hardcore is kind of just the one that does it for me. So here I am today, just doing, you know, finally got the means to be able to try and do that myself, and that's where I'm at.
Almost did kind of sound like a Breaking Bad sort of scenario when you think about it too.
So. Yeah, a little bit. Exactly what I was thinking.
music style, yeah.
And then it's almost like, hey, we got another collab idea. So there we go. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, music saved my life. So,
music is the only therapy you need.
Absolutely, 100%. The only drug I need, only therapy I need is life. So it's a direct reflection of life.
100% agree.
Absolutely. Well, let's do it within legal bounds here too. We don't want to start punching holes on the wall afterwards. So let's see what.
No Kyle's on the podcast, damn it.
But it's good to see you are doing well there, Trey. So it's good to have you around here, mate, and good to see that you are recovering. So
yeah. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Chud here, can you talk about your music a little bit? So obviously this is well before you met Trey here, too. So I guess how'd you come up with the name Chud Wretched, and I guess talk about some of the history more about Chud Wretched himself.
Yeah, so I mean, Chud is actually a homage to Kevin Smith. I believe it was Clerks 2, where there was some dialogue with Dante and I can't remember the girl's character name there, but it was in regards to like how he looked and how he was reserved and stuff like that. And he had said something along the lines of like, what am I, some hideous chud over here? And chud, I guess, it breaks down. It's an acronym for cannibalistic humanoid underground dweller. And I'm like, all right, you know, like that's, I like that. I dig that. And it kind of spun off from there that, my vocal style and stuff like that. Like, you know, you've got people that can actually hit like notes and stuff like that and can actually sing. Mine's more of like a growl, high pitched, guttural, you know, whatever have you. So it kind of fits. And I'm really 100% infatuated with like angels and demons and stuff like that. So Chud Wretched actually became, if you will, my musician persona. You know what I mean? He's a character that was created out of essentially trauma, out of everything negative that was my life. Kind of was the birth of Chud in a sense of being my inner demon, my, you know, everything bad that's ever happened to him. You've got, you know, Tony, who I am as a person, you know, in everyday life, but my internet persona, my musician persona and stuff like that is the healing that, you know, we both were talking about, and I think we all three agree. So Chud is basically what I created to further the healing that I'm doing. And it's paying off. I mean, everybody knows the name Chud Wretched when I'm online, so it definitely worked. But yeah, I mean, it's nothing more than just a brand, really, and I'm kind of homing in on it and perfecting it every day. So
yeah, I can see why. And actually, I had you come up with the mask, and just to fill in the audience, this is why Chud's being a little anonymous here today. He wants to make sure he has his mask on because he wants to keep himself anonymous. So how'd you come up with that?
Yeah, I mean, anonymity is key. So it basically was nothing more than, I know the latest craze right now is Temu, right? and so basically it was wound up being one of the free gifts that I had gotten. So I was just like, hey, why not keep this going, the anonymity going, and actually get this mask. It was funny because I was going to leave it the way that it was. It's actually in the process of being hand painted to be a little bit more unique to who I am and stuff like that. I made the idea because I actually saw another musician on Facebook with the same mask, and I'm like, oh, no. This isn't going to do. I'm going to have to just start over. I'm going to have to paint this thing completely black, and I'm just going to hand paint it. So it's currently in the works. I did want to use my video, but jeepers, I cannot find a single thing to be able to cover my face with. So we're just going to do the audio today. But yeah, no, it's excuse me, with the mask being in the works, it's kind of giving me the artistic outreach. There's going to be symbols related. There's going to be things. Basically, it's just going to be turned into like a tattooed flesh kind of thing. So I'm really stoked to have that reveal. I don't know when that's going to be. As I said, it's still in the works. I'm putting together ideas more and more every day. I'll literally wake up out of a deep sleep and had a dream about something, and it's just like, you know what, I kind of want to incorporate this in the art, so I'll jot it down into my phone or something, back to sleep I go. But so it's kind of a grueling process, but again, it's just a brand that I'm trying to perfect and kind of roll with and keep it going.
That's pretty cool. Actually, the way you were kind of referencing it earlier, it almost seemed like it was harkening back to the old days when you remember Slipknot and some of the new metal groups.
Exactly.
And then
yep.
It wasn't so much Mudvayne. Theirs was more of the face paint, so they were kind of, as my dad would say, they were like Kiss, but a lot more heavier and more down-tuned.
Yeah, right. But it ultimately it's the same concept as that too. It doesn't matter really who I am, what I look like. You're hearing my voice, you're hearing my words. That's all it's really about. And again, with Chud being basically the backbone of everything negative that's ever happened to Tony, that's also I'm not going to go out, I'm not going to perform as Tony, because it's not Tony who's doing this, it's Chud. As crazy as that sounds, I swear to God, I'm not on any pills or anything like that. But I've definitely put a lot of thought into this, and what better more than just create an alter ego to say what I feel like maybe I can't as a normal person.
I mean, hey, if you're on something, I'd like to know what Deadmau5 is on then, just to be honest. So
yeah, right.
Yeah,
that's all good too.
Yeah.
All right, I guess. Dre, do you do your own music? And I guess if you want to fill the audience in about your history in music, go ahead.
Yeah. So with my history in being exposed to music and listening to music being my whole life, when it comes to the electronic and technical side of it, I'm actually really super new. I just recently got my equipment and stuff to like start doing all that only about 2 years ago. With luckily the help from my family and friends and everybody, I wouldn't be able to have done or gotten where I'm at or any of the stuff I got without anybody else. So I'm grateful for that. But it's only been a couple of years since I've been producing my own music. So I'm really new with that and DJing and stuff. And the name is Gokagi, which is from actually an anime called Naruto. I'm sure a lot of people know that one. If you don't, it's a ninja anime cartoon show. And Gokagi, there's 5 leaders of the world, and they're all the Kagis. There's like the Hokage and the Mitsukage. But in the deep lore that's not actually in the show, it's in like the books and stuff, is there's the Gokage, which is the all of them as one kind of thing. So it's like the title given to all of them, and it translates in Japanese to shadow leaders or shadow people or something like that. So I just thought it was really like super epic and cool, and I really like that kind of stuff, like really nerdy. So I kind of just chose it and stuck with it.
The way you were saying sampling earlier, I thought maybe you'd do like the Craig Jones sort of style mask, to be honest, too. And most of the time you'd be seeing like.
I'm not sure who'd you say?
His name's Craig Jones, and he was actually the sampler. I think he's retired now, but he was in Slipknot for a good number of years. And he was the one always doing the noises too, but you'd always see him like rocking his head back and forth. I mean, and he was real quiet. He was like extremely introverted. I mean, he barely talked with anybody. So, for some reason, when he was saying sampler, that was the first one that came to mind here too. Or another one was Michael Shinoda from Linkin Park, who also did sampling with them as well. That's why I brought it up. So,
gotcha.
I was getting ready to lean into something else. I lost my train of thought right there. Damn it. All right. That's all good there too. So, I guess in terms of like influence, I guess I'll see if I can remember coming back to it, but we'll jump into this question for now. So, Chud, I guess who really influenced you in terms of your music tastes?
Oh my goodness, man. There's so many. I mean, kind of like how Trey was just talking about, growing up and he was experiencing all different styles of music. I for the longest time was a very hardcore metalhead. Like if it didn't have deep chugs and there wasn't any screaming and there wasn't any fast solos and blast beats and stuff like that, I wasn't having it. I just, it was that point in my life that was like, yeah, no, metal or nothing. But as I got older, I started noticing a lot more different music styles. And, as a musician, I guess is a lot different listening to music than it is as a fan. Because as a musician, I feel like you're listening to music more for the feeling, more for the understanding. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, a lot of fans do that too, but more recently than not, it seems that a lot of fans are also now like just ripping music apart for whatever reason. And, we remember the days, back in the 90s, early 2000s when there was rock, there was country, there was hip hop, there was R&B. Now we've got all these insane subgenres, and it's just so hard to keep up anymore. It seems like everything's changing and being put into different categories and stuff like that. And so with that, being done, I kind of had more understanding of music as what I was listening to and what I was feeling, more than just it's strings and it's vocals and it's bass and it's drums. It's I kind of pick it apart in a musician sense, more than just what I'm listening to. So I will literally go anywhere from like bluegrass all the way up to your harder rock stuff like Cradle of Filth and Behemoth and stuff like that, and everything in between. So my musical influences are all over the place. I'm a super huge Coheed and Cambria fan. That started out as they were super different because prog back then, nobody called it prog, but everybody knew it was something that was different. There was just so many different genres into one song, and I'm just like, well, I want to do something like that. You know what I mean? So I guess it's I don't have a particular influence, I guess, as it is just music as a whole. My vocal style, I definitely wanted to keep it unique as I could. A lot of people have who's heard Trey's and my track likes to compare my vocals a lot to Danny Filth from Cradle of Filth. which is an absolute honor because I mean Danny's been doing this since 1990, I think 1991 was Cradle of Filth's first album. So, and again, it's just more so the brand that I want to do. I am a lot more hardcore than a lot of the prog rock or a lot of the acoustic stuff, and so this is just kind of my way of standing out in the metal world, if you will.
I do have to apologize because I actually lost track of the whole music challenge we were doing. It was like list our favorite albums that influenced us. Mm-hmm. So I'll go ahead and tell you the one from Behemoth, which I promised I was going to tell you. It was the Demigod album.
Yeah, it's such a good album.
I would say for a black metal album, they really make Jesus look pretty badass with all those tattoos on him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You know what? I actually listened to the song Demigod itself when I was over in Europe. Where we were on a bus ride, go to our next destination. I forget the last time I actually listened to it, but it was still like, God damn it, this is still heavy as hell. So
yeah,
it's a great choices nonetheless here too. And Trey, I do remember what I wanted to talk about. It was back to Naruto, and actually I was going to yell at you first because I thought it's Hokage that's the leader. That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
But it was a good thing you backed it up right there. So okay, fair enough. But I do remember watching Naruto back in the day, but I stopped after Sasuke and Naruto had that real big fight. Then afterwards, it kind of felt.
Yeah, they've got a lot of fun.
This one was the big one here too, where I guess Sasuke killed him 3 times and he still got up. So.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's just crazy.
Yeah. But I guess Trey, who and I guess what also influenced you in terms of your play style and everything?
Yeah. You know what? Again, my answer is strikingly similar to Chud's. Long story short, I get inspiration from everywhere. I have roots from everywhere in all music. Like you said, I appreciate on the same level bluegrass all the way to death metal to opera. It's all the same to me. It's just a different form of it. It's all an expression through sound, and everyone's welcome to do it. So I really I like to take all of it in as much as I can, even though I do have what I resonate with strongly the most, which is the hard electronic music. And that being said, the first hardcore track that I ever heard was called Gats Met Die Zoe, which I think is Dutch. And it was the Playa remix of an Angerfist track. And so with that being said, my biggest inspirations for hardcore have always been the Playa and Angerfist, just because I listened to Angerfist specifically the most growing up. I know more of his tracks than anybody else's, and I kind of just went through a lot more of life with him through his music than anybody else. So I'd say Angerfist is the biggest inspiration for hardcore wise, and in general, I really get inspiration from everyone and everything involving music, even outside of music. Just talking with people, being grateful to live life, even when I'm not doing well and I can't, like I'm in my dark times. When I come through that, I can look back and I can kind of get inspiration from that as well, and even kind of express myself that way through music and get rid of those negative feelings and stuff. So I love music. Appreciate it very much.
Clearly, but you're also on the All Music Medicine That podcast, so you better like music. So
yes.
Yeah, that's why. That's pretty cool.
Kind of how she goes.
That's pretty much how it's going. Yeah,
love it.
Absolutely. And just to get off topic real quick, I'm actually doing a Halloween drum covers, and I got 4 down so far, but I need one for the week of Halloween here too. So here's the 2 options. Would you want me to do Behemoth's Lucifer or Typo Negative's Black Number 1?
Ooh, that's tricky.
I am a drummer, so I do drum covers. So that's the only instrument you're going to get out of me. So
right. I mean, to keep it as dark as I possibly can, I would probably have to say go with Lucifer by Behemoth. I mean, that in a sense, I would just love to see somebody kind of kind of mimic those drums. That's definitely my vote.
All right, we got Lucifer. I guess Trey, which one do you pick?
Lucifer. That shit sounds crazy. I never heard either of them, so.
Lucifer, actually, fortunately, Inferno is a drummer for Behemoth, but he's not doing blast beats on that, but he's doing at least a good amount of double pedaling. So,
oh yeah, I love those
down. Yeah,
you could definitely throw some blast beats in there though, kind of make it as it should have been in a sense, I guess we could say.
I mean, you can normally just go with the music, so I don't know about that.
Yeah, of course. Nothing wrong with throwing a little uniqueness in there too, kind of making it your own. That'd be cool.
You know what? Normally when I do drum covers, I always be respectable because I always want to play it. At least try to get a note for note. I wouldn't say at least perfectly, anyway. But
yeah, no, I got you.
So you can see what. All right, Lucifer it is. You'll see it come Halloween time. So make sure y'all tune in for that.
Stoked for that.
All right. But not to get back into dark topics here, but we have to normally talk about COVID here too. So I think, Chud, you mentioned you started doing this project in and around the pandemic. So I guess fill us in there and then I guess tell us how bad did COVID impact you, family, and music-wise?
Music-wise, it's that's around the time when I was learning how to mess around with the algorithm and the sponsored ads, trying to figure out how I could stop seeing, completely irrelevant stuff to me at the time and get into more of a, sponsored ads that were more tailored to me. So I essentially went through quite a bit of breaking my profile, if you will, to kind of understand how the algorithm worked. But I did it, and I found so many like indie bands that I had never heard. And I guess in a sense of the pandemic, kind of got me in a way of kind of just reaching out and finding, bands that were just starting out and, putting all their heart and soul into it, putting their money into it. And I guess I didn't really fully understand how the industry worked. So in a sense that's kind of what the pandemic did for me musically. A definite freaked out time, you know what I mean? Like I don't think anyone ever expected that we would be literally forced to be in our homes because something was going on outside, and all I could think of was like Resident Evil and like 28 Days Later and these zombie films where like you always see some sort of dystopia and or lockdowns and stuff like that. So I'm not gonna lie, pandemic freaked me out because it's an experience that you just never think you're ever gonna go through in life. But it did give me, and I'm sure a lot of people can agree, it gave me just nothing but time to sit down and focus on, I guess, myself internally, like, what do I want to do if I can't leave my house kind of thing. And again, going back to being super little and, finding music, it was, what greater hobby to have during this 2-year shutdown than get into music that I've never heard before. And it's kind of spiraled from there. I didn't catch COVID until the tail end. I did wind up getting the vaccines because I kind of had a feeling that once everything kind of started opening back up to normalcy, that I would not be able to, or that I would probably need to show some sort of vaccination in order to get into concerts. And it's really funny because after pandemic lifted and everything like that, the first concert that I got to go to was actually Coheed for the first time out in Rochester. So I kind of it was funny just because I knew that like that's what it was going to be. So I literally just went and got vaccinated so that I could go see Coheed.
Can't miss that Coheed in Cambria. So
Yeah, no, it was the first time that I had ever seen him too, and it was really cool. I enjoyed it a lot, but it was funny because the next tour after that, they had just released the recent Window of a Waking Mind, and I was just like listening to the album. I was like, man, I just see like in my mind, I just see like teleprompters and video screens and stuff like that, and just all this craziness going on behind them while they're playing that. And no sooner did I say that, their next tour, they literally had like video screens and stuff going on with them and pertaining to the album. So that kind of had me a little butthurt because when I went and saw them, it was just a normal stage. There wasn't really too much. I mean, of course they had lights and stuff like that, but being able to see all that cool stuff, that would have been cool too, and way better. But either way, I got to see my favorite band live, so I can definitely be happy about that one now.
we can check that off our list of regrets. So we got that. And actually, did they open with Welcome Home?
No, they actually closed with it, and it was funny that that's one of the biggest things in one of the groups that I'm in for Coheed is Children of the Fence, and I guess they've been like closing tours or shows with that song for like so long that people were like kind of getting tired of it. And here I am, very first time seeing them. I'm just like, you know what? I don't care. This is amazing, and Claudio can literally close with whatever he wants to, and I would be fine with it. So.
Amen to that. So fair enough. And I'll tell you about the first concert I saw a little bit here too. But first off, it's good to see Art doing well there, Chud, and good to see Art doing better. So
yeah, thanks, man.
Nice. Trey, I guess how bad did COVID impact you, family, and music wise? Looks like you're on mute.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
COVID, it kind of didn't really affect me as much as it affected everybody else. I was working through a lot of it, doing like I think I was doing some kind of fast food or restaurant job at the time. So I was doing some work. So I was still going out and stuff. I was going out shopping. Like they told me I couldn't, and I still went out or whatever. But I did happen to start streaming video games. I've always been into video games my whole life, and I started streaming video games during COVID. And I've always wanted to do the DJ and producing thing. And just right after COVID ended was when I actually was able to. I got gifted like some gear and stuff to start doing that. So COVID didn't really affect me too much. I was still able to see family. None of my family really got like sick or anything. I never got sick or anything. I was like some people at my work got it, but I never like saw them or nothing. So I mean, it didn't really affect me too much. I got all the stipends, so I got like extra money on top of it. I mean, it's definitely not a good thing, but like it kind of was in hindsight for my personal life, like it was kind of a turning point in my life. So it was a good time for me, not a good time for the world, obviously, but it was a good time for me to kind of really hone in on what I wanted to do and where things were going and how I saw the world, I perceived it.
So it was more of a blessing in disguise. So I gave you chances to expand your horizons a little bit more. So I can see why.
Yeah.
That's good to see. And actually, Chud, I was the same way. I got COVID actually when I was in Nashville, when it was in the tail end of the years of 2022. So
yeah, no, same. I forgot to mention that part. I almost went the entire lockdown with not catching it at all, and I was actually super proud of myself because I've got kids too, and we all know how those little germies like to bring germs in from outside. But no, we did really good. We were sanitizing everything constantly and stuff like that. So I actually didn't wind up contracting it until after I was vaccinated and towards the tail end of lockdown. But that was pretty grueling. I think he was probably 1 year old at the time. My youngest had gotten it, and he actually literally kicked it in less than 24 hours, which I thought was weird, because he's not vaccinated or anything like that. Mom and Dad, though, we were kind of laid up for a good 3-4 days. Really freaked out because I had lost my smell, I had lost my taste, and we saw on the news a lot that there were people that had contracted it back when it had started, and they still never got their smell and taste back. And I'm a super foodie, like I'm half Italian, so it's kind of in my blood. That was probably the worst experience of my life, not being able to taste or smell anything for like a good solid week to 2 weeks. And then it finally just came back one day. But yeah, no, that COVID was not cool at all, hands down.
I think we were filling Trey with some nasty images inside his brain with all of the details we were just describing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, somebody that didn't get it. Yeah, no, kudos though. I don't know how in the world he was able to go out of his house and not get it, because again, it was kind of like just everywhere at the time, which is obviously why we got locked in. But yeah, no, that was probably obviously I've been sick before. I've had the flu and stuff like that, but not this was a whole different type of sickness, hands down.
I know what you mean. I'll be on my drum set trying to do bolt throwers, no guts, no glory, and I couldn't even get through halfway through the song.
Couldn't do it, right? Yeah, no, definitely the fatigue was the worst out of all of it. Like I've obviously have been tired, but this was a completely different level of tired. Like I woke up tired. I was tired the entire day. I was tired at night. Didn't matter how much sleep I got or anything like that. That fatigue was disgusting. That was probably the worst thing of it.
Just to take Rob Zombie's little quote, it'd be like living dead guy instead of living dead girl.
Real. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. But in all seriousness, it's good to see you guys are doing well out there too. And Chud, congrats on having the kids and keeping the family safe there too. So
yeah, absolutely. Thank you, man.
No worries. All right. But Chud, here for the next question, I guess talk about the gear that you use for your music production.
So, I am super simple for my recording software. I'm actually just using Audacity. I do at some point want to get into more of a professional software or professional DAW, if you will. The more I think about it, I don't really think that it's something that I need, because at the end of it all, it really matters most on the producing and the mastering aspect of it. And as Trey pretty much proved to me, my sentiments on that, I think I kind of hit the nail on the head. Through Audacity, it's for those that don't really know much about DAW software, it's super basic. Like literally, I just hit record and I do my vocals, I do my thing, and that's it. What Trey did to it, from just literally, I also recorded clean per his request. I didn't mess with any levels or anything like that. And what he was able to do with clean vocals kind of solidified that I don't really think I need anything too professional right now, as long as I'm working with somebody who knows what they're doing. That being said, the recording software, I guess I can kind of go half-assed on, but what the tool that I'm using to record my vocals, to get it into the DAW, I think mattered most to me. I didn't want to do anything generic in that sense. So for my microphone, I actually use a cardioid dynamic microphone. Super simple. It's HD for that crisp clear, and I don't know this company. I think a lot of other people do, and I'm probably going to butcher the name, as I'm sure I think I was looking into it, and I think they are a Korean company, kind of like a off branch of Samsung, I believe, but it's Maono, I think is how it's pronounced, Maono. Um, Not a super expensive microphone. It is straight up USB. It does also have an XLR feature to it, which I haven't been able to use because I do record straight into my computer through it. But I'm super happy with this thing. I think I spent under $70 for it, and probably the best microphone I have ever used. Super crisp, super clear, and it did well with putting it into free recording software to at least get it out to somebody who knew what they were doing, meaning Trey, and just what he was able to do with it absolutely blows my mind. So I'm stoked to keep using it. I'm stoked to work with other people that kind of know what they're doing in the producing and mastering world, and just going from there, being as cost effective as I can. This hobby isn't cheap, but there are some corners that you can cut to at least just get something recorded and see where it can go from there.
Yeah, you're right about not being cheap. I would say you don't have to worry about doing a whole bunch of layoffs as compared to like other companies just to cut corners, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, but you definitely want to be as cost effective as you can be, especially this day and age. I mean, I'm not some millionaire. I don't make a lot of money. I do have a family to provide for on top of it, but still being able to do this in the most cost effective way that's not breaking my wallet and stuff like that. That's what means the most to me, is that I'm still able to make music, but I'm not breaking the bank while having to do it.
I know one of my uncles who was real big into music. He told me a lot about Audacity, how it was actually a good starter since it is free just to fill in the audience. So, I mean, that's the biggest plus, is that you're able to use it.
Like I said, it's super basic. I mean, I've looked into, the different things that you could do with it, the different effects and stuff like that. But again, it's after doing this track with Trey and recording it clean, I don't really feel that I have to mess around with anything and kind of just hand it off to somebody who knows what they're doing a little bit more. Because I start touching buttons and stuff like that, my computer's probably going to explode, and I need it. So
Don't push the red button, as they would say.
yeah, stay away from the red button. Absolutely.
Okay. All right, and Trey.
Yo, Chud, don't forget your mind, man. Your mind is also one of your biggest, if not your biggest piece of equipment, man. Because he came up with those lyrics, and the track are all his original lyrics, and that's all up there. You know?
Yeah.
I was going to say asset, yeah.
I didn't want to toot my own horn, so I figured I'd let you do it for me, man. Thank you.
No, but really, no, seriously. I mean, like producing is one thing, playing an instrument is one thing, but writing lyrics is also another thing too. So that needs to be taken into account and given credit where it's due for sure. I think, in my opinion, 100%. So
when he's right, he's right.
Yeah, absolutely. What was the question?
That's why I was going to get off topic there too. But just what sort of gear do you use for, I guess,
doing
your magic happen? Yeah.
Gear, yeah. I got Fruity Loops is what I originally got to use as Fruity Loop Studio. I just recently got Ableton. Also, I haven't used that really. I haven't learned much with that yet. I've just been doing the Fruity Loops and comfortable with it. I got a little MIDI keyboard that connects to it. It's the Fruity Loops keyboard. And I also have I play guitar, but it's an acoustic electric. But I'd like to get an electric guitar. I'm not really comfortable with the one I got. And I also got a little microphone myself too. My roommate that I live with, he's got like the whole studio, man, it looks like something that like Jay-Z would walk into or something. I don't know, like Kanye West or something like that. He's got everything, but I got just the simple stuff too. Besides the doll, the doll is the most expensive thing, really. Uh, and then just the simple gear, yeah.
I would like to really ask the guy who made Fruity Loops if he was really big into the cereal Fruit Loops.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, it's only literally just a one syllable or a one word letter difference when you think about it. So
Yeah, I never noticed that before. Now I'm gonna always think about that.
I mean, I immediately thought about that the first time I had heard about it too. I think like, man, okay, took a cereal brand and just turned into a music application.
Yeah. It gets a lot of heat.
Clearly. So next thing you know, they're going to talk about out of my way. They're after me, Lucky Charms or something.
I'd use it.
It used to be a lot. I've heard. It used to be like way not as good as it is now. Like now, it's like can live up to the names of other digital audio workstations. But apparently, like when it first came out, it was just like something really super simple. Kind of just to throw at your kid or something like that.
Or if I'm just going to be like, oh man, this thing's a complete piece of shit. Now they're like, this thing is the shit. So you can see what.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah, if I remember, it's been around for a while too. I want to say that I kind of stumbled upon it. Mid 2000s, maybe earlier than that, 2005, 2006. So it's definitely come a long way. I would have to agree with Trey, because I remember when it was just super basic, kind of like Audacity, where like I think they even had a free version when they came out, and then recently released or not recently, but soon after that released the studio versions of software and stuff like that, to now I think they have like a professional version as well. So they've definitely come a long way. Quite familiar with them as well. But for right now, Audacity's doing the trick for me.
That's good. Though I do have to admit, I never really used Fruity Loops, so unfortunately I got no opinion on it, so I'll take your word for it. So.
Yeah.
Okay. But here for the next one, Chud, this one we can kind of combine your single into too, with the one that you've been doing with Trey, but here's what we can do. Tell us your process of like how you create a song. Do you normally start with some lyrics and put the music around it, or vice versa?
So, I mean, a lot of music, I mean, really, if not all, is it's meant to tell a particular story. So when I do, start writing lyrics, I kind of, I guess, in a sense of write in a poem type format, you know what I mean? Because essentially that's kind of what lyrics are, is just literally a poem that has music added to it. But just as well as any lyricist will do, it's, I basically just want to tell a story. I don't think that Trey and I actually really sat down and said, hey, what do we want this track to be about? I kind of came into it with the fact of, hey, this guy's got, kind of a demon persona going on. Chud very clearly is a demon persona. So let's kind of keep it around, that sort of premise. And so when I was writing, it was kind of just like, very simply put, what kind of evil, weird shit can I say in, a 32 bar, basically verse that he needed me to write. And it was just, again, it was kind of really cool because, again, the sample that he found with Nefarious kind of, I mean, he didn't say anything about it. He didn't, kick it out to me and say, hey, what do you think about adding this to it? He kind of just did it, which is really cool. I mean, that's what any good producer will do. But just the fact of where I wanted to go with it and kind of keep, the fact of our demon personas, and then he, without even talking about it, kind of hopped on that same feel. It was just, it was kind of one of the coolest experiences that I've ever had, and the fact of we had very minimal communication, yet kind of came together at the end of this track, and it all just fit. I can't explain it. It's like our personalities just meshed so well that there was no communication needed on what we wanted to do. We kind of just did it, and it literally all just fell into place.
Dre was your brother from another mother, as we would probably like to say.
I mean, literally, dude. Like,
the
yeah.
best way to collab, man. And if I would have talked anything out, I would have been open to do anything, but we didn't even have to. You like that? Yeah. You like that? Yeah. Great. Let's go.
That's literally all it was. Yeah, it was the craziest experience I've ever had in making a track, and it all fell into place, man.
That's pretty cool. I guess, Dre, I guess for your own music, I guess even the music you've been doing with Chud recently, I guess fill us in. I guess how you create your own music. For instance, do you start with lyrics and then, or in this case, samples, and then try to go build a music around it, or vice versa?
So, I guess I would say there's a madness to my method, or a method to my madness rather. But there's kind of certain different techniques, or like uh, uh, steps, as the right word is. That's the better word. There's certain steps that I would take. Sometimes I might take other steps before other steps, but it kind of all boils down to the same thing, and that's what I do is I take a song that I respect, that is of quality, that I like a lot, and I'll throw it into the workstation, and I'll use that as what's called like a reference track, for like arrangement or just any kind of inspiration or ideas or whatever, and I'll kind of follow suit, ish to that track, but I'll make it, with my own sounds, my own vibe, my own everything, my own. I'll kind of just use it as like not like I guess a cheat sheet, maybe you could say, but more like a source of inspiration. And then I kind of will just plug in whatever I'm feeling at that day, in. And so going back to like what Chud said, it's telling a story, right? And so sometimes when you tell a story, stories take a long time to tell. And with a 3-5 minute song, it doesn't take that long to listen to it, but there's a lot that goes in on to making that, right? So sometimes it might take a month or longer to make a song, and so it's kind of just connecting those little tiny feelings and thoughts of everyday life. Like if to say today I'm putting percussion in a track, whatever I'm feeling that day, I'll put that energy into the percussion in hopes of that the people that listen to it later on will pick up that same exact energy and feeling when the time comes, and kind of just mash everything together. Like sometimes I'll work all day on a track and I'll get like half or the entire track done, but sometimes I'll just do a little bit here and there, and it's kind of just slowly building that story to tell to others in the end, kind of thing. However that gets done is kind of, however that looks to people, it's pretty much how it gets done.
Yeah. I guess for some of the samples, do you have to worry about any copyright? I'm assuming since you guys are still pretty small. So
Absolutely. It's that's a huge slippery slope, and like a big, huge, blown out of proportion thing, which I totally understand and get. I have many views on it. I don't think I really want to get into that right now. We totally could. I could sit here all day and talk about it, and I don't want to say anything that would backfire on me, really. But all in all, yeah, it's hard, and you got to watch out, and it's slippery. But in the end, I think that it's all about love and respect for the people and for the music that's being made. That's all. So it's kind of like one of those, you never know what you're going to get. Someone might get mad, someone might love it. You never know.
almost seems like you're walking a fine tightrope there, Trey. So tread carefully.
Yeah, walking on eggshells kind of thing, but I'm always about respect. Like if I ever sample, I would always try to contact somebody first, right? Like, but say like recently I used a rapper, a really famous rapper in one of my tracks. Like, I'm probably not gonna be able to contact him, so I kind of just used it. It's whatever. Like, if there's ever a problem, I would just be respectful. I would change it, or I'd never use it. Like, it's just all about respect and love, and having fun. So I wouldn't want to, yuck anyone else's yum, or put anyone else's fun down for any reason. And if my having fun and what I want to do does that for somebody else, then I would like shut that down immediately. I don't want none of that. So kind of hard, but it's definitely better to make original stuff, which is great for having friends like Chud that can just do that. Good.
Stay flow, yeah. Oh, I was waiting on Chud if I was going to say something, but okay. But I guess, Chud, in terms of lyrics, I guess, what do you normally like to write about in your lyrics? Because I know you say you like to get poetic.
Yeah, no, again, because I, choose to use music in a personal therapeutic sense, I kind of just try to write more on what I've been through. With this track here, it wasn't so much of that as it was just, again, like what kind of weird stuff can I say, and can I make work? But when I do write, it's more of just getting, how I feel on the inside, getting it out on paper that necessarily somebody might be able to relate to, and or just kind of keep that creepy vibe that I like. On my profile, it's got that, I find solace in things that people fear or just simply don't understand. And that's kind of my writing style, and not really to get off topic, but I am a Satanist, so I kind of keep, that without, being offensive and stuff like that. I kind of keep the what could be considered evil and stuff like that, and kind of just, let people know that it's like, hey, it's might freak you out, but it makes me pretty comfortable. So that's, but again, like I said earlier, it's more of just a story. It's, this one was really easy because, during pandemic and now after pandemic, it just seems like there's a lot of craziness going on. And I kind of just wanted to put out there that says something kind of along the lines of, hey, we kind of know what's going on, but to not fear it, to just kind of stand up for what you believe in, stand up for yourself, no matter, what it is. I don't, just because I'm a Satanist, I don't really want to put anybody down for not having the same, ideas or thoughts that I have, kind of thing. So it's kind of just like hey, you're taking the time to listen to what I have to say. Here it is, and that's basically all it is just putting out there my characteristics and who I am, my personality, and who I want to be, kind of thing. So it's just perfecting a brand, if you will.
I would say it's basically just another form of atheism, really. When it came to the States, they just used it to poke fun at, mostly at the Christians, whenever they started doing the satanic themes, like bands like Deicide, for instance, too. They just wanted to poke fun at that, too. It's a lot different in Scandinavia, too, where if you think back to Mayhem, I think the lead singer, the guitar player, Euronymous, he would be labeled as a Satanist, but he was a believer in the devil rather than God. So,
Right.
But totally respect your opinion. So you proceed how you want to be. So we'll leave it at that.
I mean,
nope. I heard his violence. I don't know. So
take it how you will. I mean, I'm this and that, and none of the above, all of the above. So
I can see. All right, fair enough. But I guess Trey, do you do any lyrics? I guess even with this collab too, or are you just mainly doing like samples and stuff to fit into your music?
No, I'm mostly just a DJ and producer. I do love to sing. I would love to write some lyrics someday of my own and make some kind of original track of my own. But no, I haven't been doing much of that. No.
I would say in terms of your music, we like to be brutalized. It helps build our spirit. So yeah, that's all cool. But here, Trey, in terms of the challenges that you guys face these days, so I guess what challenges do you face being a musician in general?
So you just say Chud or Trey?
Sorry, I meant to say Chud.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't sure if he said me either. What challenges do I face as a musician? I mean, first and foremost, I want a band. I want a band really bad. That's been the more difficult one, because it seems that a lot of bands are actually being put together now, basically across the world. I mean, one of my closest band friends, if you will, none of the guys are local to each other. I mean, you got one of their guitarists are in Canada, another one's in Texas, couple of guys are out in California, and then they've got a guy from an entirely different country, but yet putting albums out, creating music, kind of in the same way that Trey and I did. But I would have to say that would be my biggest challenge is, I could do collabs for days. I'm working on a couple right now. But it's to be able to have something a little bit more solidified in the means of, getting to work with a group of guys that are my guys, you know what I mean? Like we're doing it for a band essentially. But it's, as they say, good things come to those who wait. But that's nothing outside of that. I really consider challenging. If there's one thing that I love, it is a challenge, which was kind of what geared me towards Trey a lot, was the fact that I had never done a track that had this type of producing into it, like a techno-y style. Again, I grew up a metalhead. I do play bass and guitar myself, so everything's pretty much organic in that sense of being played with hands. So this was a completely new experience for me. I did have the idea that I approached Trey with, kind of thing, and the more I got to think about it, I'm like, how in the hell are we gonna make this work? You know what I mean? Because you're basically putting bands like Cradle of Filth and Behemoth and stuff like that with techno. And he had showed me a couple of tracks. He was saying how his biggest influence was Anger Fist, and he had actually showed me Anger Fist before we even had the idea to collab together. So that it kind of got me into doing kind of the same thing. And then there was another group that you showed me, Trey. I can't recall the name right now, that they wear masks and stuff too. Was it like chaotic something or another? No, I think that was the song name.
Chaotic Hostility. Yeah, I love them.
Yeah, those guys. And I was just like, wow. I was like, well, if they can make that work, I was like, and this guy listens to it, I'm like, there's no doubt in my mind that we're not going to be able to make this work somehow. And by God, we made this work. So that was again another biggest. I almost wanted to pull out and not do it, just because I wasn't really kind of comfortable with the idea, because I didn't do it before. But again, I can't stress enough that I do love a challenge, and I'm actually really glad and thankful that I kind of stuck with it, because it's probably one of the most phenomenal things that I've ever been a part of.
I would say stick to your guns. That's probably the hardest thing to do, but I can see why. But good job sticking with it. So, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Anyways. And I guess Trey, I guess what challenges do you face these days being a musician?
Oh man, that's a really broad question, isn't it? I, I would say I face just the same amount of challenges in general that every music producer or musician, rather, sorry, not producer, but every musician challenges. Uh, Anywhere from writer's block to stress or feelings of doubt or self worth or anything you can really think of in that sense. And personally, uh, some kind of challenges that I would face probably include things like the style of music I'm into isn't really as prominent as other styles of music, especially where I'm from. I'm in America, and the music is basically it's all in Europe, mostly for the most part. So that can be a little challenging. Also, the kind of music I like I said earlier, there's the light side of it and the more aggressive side of it. But I tend to listen to the more aggressive side of it a lot, and it's really abrasive, and people don't, a lot of people don't really, they don't understand it. I feel misunderstood a lot. Um, Luckily, I have a great support system from my family and friends. Without that, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. I'd still be listening to the music, but it'd be my life would look a lot different. So, uh, yeah, I don't know. There's so many answers I can think of. It's a tough question. The one.
Let's say the majority of what people had said is normally time, and there's finance, which kind of can tie into like marketing.
Time is all time. Time is man. Time is the biggest one because uh, no, we're all gonna die someday, that's a huge that's a tough pill to swallow, and a lot of people don't have the opportunities that I've been luckily gratefully given, like funds to be able to get the equipment, extra time to be able to learn. Like Chud has people have families that work full-time jobs. They only get 1-2 hours a day to try and learn as much as they can, and it's sometimes it feels like it's not enough. Um, then you think about how much time you got left, and then it can spiral really quickly, and then if you get stuck there, and then you're not making music within that time, then it can just get so bad so quick. So time is probably one of the biggest things. Also, time versus energy given to the world and given to life.
I thought Joe was going to say something right there, but
Yeah, no, I was just going to say that on a more personal level, outside of obviously, wanting a band and stuff like that, I don't think I could agree more with the fact of time probably being my own personal, challenge. It's like he said, I've got a family. I work, 10, 12 hours a day. Sometimes I get out of work, I come home, I also work kind of thing. So really my only times that I can get to actually sit down and kind of get an idea of what I want to do musically next is literally within just a couple of hours in comparison to a day. And it's usually for the weekends. Essentially why it did kind of take me a little long to get my vocal track out to Trey. I think I took like a little bit over a month just to record vocals, but I didn't want to just throw something out there either too. So time was kind of on my side with that one, that everything that I was doing in everyday life in the back of my mind was, what do I want to do with this track? How do I want to do it? What do I want it to be about, kind of thing. So, time was definitely a challenge as far as, getting something out. But I'm a real good multitasker. And again, with keeping ideas in your mind kind of thing, and maybe even getting them down quicker as the thoughts come to you kind of thing also help with me, because then I could go back on what I had written down and kind of pull it all together. Or, no, I don't know what I was thinking there. That's not a good idea at all. Get rid of that, and, kind of thing. But yeah, no, time 100% is probably the greatest challenge of any musician.
Yeah, like a little tablet and just rip the paper off as soon as you didn't like it. Scratch on the ball and be like,
oh yeah,
ballin'.
So, right.
So, I see.
You know,
I mean, to get too dark.
Time, though, is it also directly attributes to quality too, because time is all we've got. So any time you spend doing anything is that's the best. You know what I mean?
It's either gonna make or break you. Absolutely agree.
Right here, right now, I'm so grateful for this opportunity to just be talking with you guys. Like I could be anywhere, and I'm right here right now. So it's great. I love it.
That's for sure. All right. We didn't mean to get too dark right there, but sometimes you got to be brutally honest with some people. So it's a good lesson here. And it could kind of tie in with this question right here, but Chud, just make sure I don't want to do any confusion like the last one there. So, but Chud, I guess in terms of advice, because obviously you mentioned about Christina and Vox and Sticks with Band Together earlier. So I guess, what advice would you give to musicians on Band Together and I guess in your neck of the woods?
Oh man, there's so much, since being part of the indie community with the help of Christina, Vox and Sticks and everything, which super big shout out to her and to Greg and to her band and everything. That's I think 100% what we needed at that time. Because again, we're all so used to getting this started out where we didn't have really social media. I mean, the first big social media thing that we had back then was MySpace. MySpace wasn't formatted to be what Facebook is now, with reaching out and stuff like that, and actually putting, recorded stuff up for people to be able to hear and stuff like that. I've met so many bands, so many people, so many great people, so many great bands. I've also seen a lot of bands disband because of what I guess was created, the numbers game. A lot of bands have broken up because they just aren't getting the numbers kind of thing. And I don't know if it's more so because I kind of grew up without having to worry about numbers and stuff like that, but that would have to be my biggest advice. I have a pinned post on my musicians page that I'm not here for numbers. I'm not here for likes. I'm here to do what I want to do, how I want to do it. If people are on board with me, great. If they're not, that's great too, because that's just going to make me strive more to do what I want to do and do it harder and do it better. The best advice I can give is just stick with it. Remember why you got into music. Remember why you continue to play music. Don't focus on numbers. It's really not a numbers game, but in a sense it is. I'm not really doing this to make money, so I'm kind of coming at it from a different perspective than most people would. Everybody wants to get rich quick and get everything heard and stuff like that, but I think that's ultimately where people are setting themselves up for failure, is they're not kind of letting the process do its thing. They're kind of trying to force it based off of what we were doing during the pandemic, and it was so easy because we had nothing else to do but sit there and support each other and stuff like that. Now that we're getting back to normalcy, a lot of people are starting to see numbers drop, and the whole crazy thing going on with Spotify and the CEO saying that we're putting nothing into the content that we create, which, I mean, it's not content. This isn't a meme. This is like, a lot of people's livelihoods and stuff like that. So and I'm not really too keen on the fact that people are getting into music because they want to be millionaires and stuff like that. They want to do something they love. They want to, get things out that maybe they've internalized for so long and stuff like that. And you've just got to keep knowing of why you started this in the first place, because at that time there was no such thing as numbers and stuff like that. So don't focus on them. Focus on why you yourself want to become a musician and just roll with it and keep going. You're gonna hear no's. You're gonna be disappointed, but don't stop. Because again, had I listened to my head, followed my gut and not did this track with Trey, I wouldn't be getting any sort of publicity on this right now. I'd still be that guy on Facebook that just makes crazy memes and says the most off the wall shit that I could think of, and that's all I would be, kind of thing. So no, definitely don't give up. Don't pay attention to numbers. Accept the downfall. Work harder and just keep going.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Amen to that.
All right.
So many opportunities are going to go unmissed if you, and you're just going to have nothing but regrets if you just focus on the fact of your reach and your numbers and no, not numbers. You're doing this for you. Let the process take its course from there.
The money is just icing on the cake, as I would like to say. So
exactly.
So, all right, Drake, you try to match what Chud just did right there. I think he's got a lot of competition.
Oh, man, yeah. There's lots of creative license where I could come up with. As cliche as it sounds, I think something that's really nice to hear is that is to 100% never give up. No matter what. If you're thinking about doing it, start doing it. If you're already doing it, keep doing it. If you're doing it and you're feeling like it's hard, just keep doing it. There's always gonna. It's really hard to get out something that really reflects well. Because you could tell someone what they want to hear, but that's not really what I want. That's not really what I want to do. I want to say what they really want to hear deep down, which is the actual cold hard truths of things. And sometimes the cold hard truths don't have to be hard or cold. Sometimes they can be really actually warm and inviting. Like time. Like when it comes down to the time thing, you might have to make some what feels like some sacrifices. You might have to, wake up an hour earlier every day, or something along the lines of that. But when you, in retrospect, right, it might seem tough, but it builds discipline, builds character, and then in retrospect, the time adds up, and then all of a sudden you did what you needed to do, and then now you're on top. And I also think another big thing that people really need to hear is that anybody can do anything at any time, period, no matter what it is. If your boss is being rude to you and you want to quit, you can quit. You can quit, dude. You can quit 100%. You can quit. You can go find a job that better suits you. Do you want to sit down and you want to make a song? You can sit down and make a song, you know what I mean? But if you choose not to, then that's also your choice. That's the hard part, is kind of breaking through those walls sometimes. But once you break through the walls, you can see that anything can be done at any time. If you got a bone disorder, if you got a genetic disorder, you could be a DJ. You can produce music. You can play an instrument. You have look at Def Leppard. His drummer's got one leg. He lost his leg. He can still play the drums.
Arm.
If you're shy, if you have stage fright, put on a mask and turn around and face the opposite way. Pretend they're all in their underwear or whatever they say. Anybody can do anything they want at any time. Anything is possible. You just gotta believe you can do it, and then start doing it. And then once that ball gets rolling, you're like, oh my God, whoa, that's actually true. Like, no way. How is that possible? Blows your own mind. So
I just got up and did it. That's what I did. And
yeah.
just to correct you, the drummer for Def Leppard, he lost an arm, not a leg.
Arm, not the leg. Sorry. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
No, you're good.
That's that from the record books.
Yeah. And I do remember there was a movie, and I can't remember it off the top of my head, but it had John Goodman and Mark Wahlberg in it. And Mark Wahlberg had like a little gambling addiction. So he's asking John Goodman, who's like this loan shark. And then Goodman just goes on this little, I want to say speech, but it's kind of profanity laced in a way right here. It's almost like, boss pisses you off, fuck you. And then that whole thing. And then this whole thing, like, you need to be in the position of fuck you. So,
Hands down. Well said.
Yeah. Recommend check it out on YouTube right there. I forget what it was called, but just look at Mark Wahlberg and John Goodman. They were both in it. So Chud and Trey, we briefed your questions. You're pretty good. So here, let's jump to the fun ones. Ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So Chud, here, you can go first. What would you say is currently your favorite food?
Currently, my favorite food. Man, that is a tough one. I'd have to go. I'd have to go with homemade pizza, man. As cliche as that sounds, like I make a mean pie, but there's just something about making it at home and making it with my own two hands that it tastes better to me. I can cook it the way that I want to. You know, I like a little more well done than most, but homemade pizza for sure has got to be not only my favorite to eat, but definitely favorite to make. So I'm going with pizza.
Well, he is Italian too, so I mean, kind of obvious.
Now I want a freaking pizza, so I know what I'm doing after this interview.
We know what family night's gonna be. So
That's right.
actually, do you have any local pizza joints in your neck of the woods?
Oh my God, tons. Yeah, I mean, Central New York, it's a lot of people will argue that literally this is the birthplace of pizza. Down in New York City, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles made a whole thing about it. That's their thing. But yeah, no, I've got tons. But like I said, there's just pizza places are kind of all the same to me anymore. Like they almost seem like they're all using the same products. About the only thing that changes is the sauce. So if you eat at one pizza joint, you've eaten at them all, really. Which again is why I definitely got to go with homemade as being my more favorite pizza, because I've got the power to make it how I want. So.
I do remember Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was more so the early 2000s one. I think it was 2003 to 2009. And in a joking sense wise, we upgraded Michelangelo from sculpting David to being a pizza mascot.
That's right.
Good choices, though. All right. Trey, I guess what'd you say is your favorite food?
Oh boy, that's a tough question. I don't have the most healthy relationship with food. I recently lost like 80 pounds. And so I mean, I love food. My favorite food is probably, I'd say, is the food that tastes good, which is mostly all of it. But nowadays, yeah, all the above. Nowadays, well, I eat a lot of low fat stuff with like high protein, and I try to like stick to a strict diet with like a certain amount of calories kind of thing. I do a lot of protein shakes, and I like to get the pot stickers. I've been eating a lot of pot stickers lately, like dumplings.
I'm going to say, man, for liking all food at the top of the order right there, I'm thinking, man, you're real thin for what you eat. So. In a good way. So.
Yeah, remember, he's young, too. He's still got that fast metabolism, not like us old.
No, I don't.
Getting fatter.
That's the thing. I don't, man. With all the drugs I did, I completely wrecked my body, bro. And I just my body's all out of whack, man. I eat one sandwich and I gain like 5 pounds. But then I also lose 10 pounds in a day. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's rough,
So,
man.
yeah, I give it to don't do drugs, kids. That's what we're gonna say.
Yeah, no, don't. No.
Stay in school. Stay in
school.
school. Yeah, in a good way. All right. Chud here for the next one. I guess. So, what would you say is your favorite movie currently?
Favorite movie currently is probably what it's always has been since the day I saw it. It would have to be Brandon Lee's Crow, hands down. I mean, from a very young age, I think I was like, I want to say I was maybe like 9 when it first came out. Not really, obviously a movie for a 9-year-old to be watching, but yeah, no, I'm to the point now where I've seen it so damn much that I can literally recite from opening scene to ending credits. I grew up with the graphic novel first, obviously, but I dig the premise, the message behind the movie, and kind of, inadvertently, it's also how I live my life. Like just with the whole keep going and don't let things fight for what's right. Essentially, keep the love, keep the peace as much as you can, but don't get trampled over either.
Fight the good fight. That's what you say. All right. Choice. And Trey.
What's been running through my mind the most is Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter.
I'll say Vita Cavada.
Yep.
Get the dark spell out and everything.
Yep.
I think it has just about everything in one yet.
Yeah.
So you get a nice snake and everything too. I always pronounce it wrong. I always thought it was like Nagini or something, which was Voldemort's pet snake.
Yeah, I think it's Nagini. Yeah.
So he pictures having a giant anaconda snake now. So, and then the house is his eternal soul. So, yeah, that's how it goes. Yeah, that's how it was. I was trying to remember too because I lost interest after book 6, and then I forget how far I got in the movies. I've actually stopped after Order of the Phoenix. Yeah, I think it was after Order of the Phoenix. I kind of stopped with the movies. So,
oh man, you gotta finish them.
Yeah, I got to finish. I was only short 3 more movies because they broke Deathly Hallows into 2. So,
Yep.
All right, great choice though. Chud here for the next one. First off, do you guys drink any alcohol? I didn't know if you guys were working on being sober from any alcohol.
No, I definitely will kick back a couple on the weekend. It's my ode to myself for being responsible all week and acting like an adult and doing adult things that I should deserve one day out of 7 to act like a fucking child, but
A grown-up child, really.
a man child, yes sir.
Man child. I guess
I mentioned I was in recovery, and a lot of people, more than 50% of the people would tell you that I'm wrong for saying this, but I am in recovery, and I do still I smoke marijuana, and I'll drink alcohol also, occasionally if I do feel like it. Long story short, because that's not what I personally feel like I had a problem with in my life that I wanted to recover from. And I found that out the hard way. Like, I've been completely sober. I did the Narcotics Anonymous thing, all that. I've been there, done that for a lot of different things. But yeah, I like alcohol. Yeah, it just makes me really tired when I drink it. I'll take like have one drink and then I want to just go to bed. But I like it.
Actually, that was me yesterday because I went to a Pirates game because I'm from the Pittsburgh region, and actually my brother-in-law gave me 2 extra beers because the story was we actually ended up in one restaurant, and I actually drank a whole glass of Angry Orchard. I'm real big into the apple ciders. So I drank that whole thing. I even chugged it at one point because we had to move on to the next one, not waste a good bit of alcohol. And then we got to the next restaurant. I had like 3 more. So I had like 4 beers altogether yesterday, which to me is like a record. So
You lush.
I know. Hey, I was having fun too, but actually, I was forced into it. I was going to stop after 3. So,
That's the not to go off topic here, or sound like I'm trying to push people into recovery and stuff like that, but you can literally enjoy anything as long as it's in moderation. It's when you allow it to get out of hand that it ultimately develops a problem and stuff like that. So
whatever is good for you.
You don't. You know your limit. You know your limit. You don't have to drink to get drunk. That's kind of me being contradicting there, because I definitely do like to get drunk, but
turn to a preacher right now.
Yeah, we'll just stop. We'll let Reverend Wretched sleep, and we'll just keep Chud out here.
Yeah, as I was saying, we're getting ready for our homily next. So
yeah. We will end this interview with prayer.
Okay. Bow your heads in forgiveness. Sorry. Okay, fair enough. Right. I did want to ask, just make sure too, because I know Trey was kind of in recovery there, so I just want to make sure. But I was leading to this question here. So, Chud, I guess, what would you say is your favorite alcoholic drink and non-alcoholic drink?
So I am a super big fan of Scotch. Anything Scotch. Scotch. It's I'm starting to sound like Ron Burgundy right now. Look at that. Go from preacher to Ron. Anything top shelf, I will definitely drink. Non-alcoholic, I am a very big tea drinker. Hot tea and honey, I actually drink all the time. That's also kind of leads into my advice for fellow vocalists here. Honey is probably the best thing that you can have. Anything honey. Tea is, I feel, lets me do some pretty crazy things with sounds that come out of my throat, and the honey just obviously coats it. So yeah, any tea and honey's got to be my favorite non-alcoholic.
You spewing honey in the microphone. So let's do it. Shoot, I was just thinking of something funny. All right. I always hate when that happens too. You have like one thought in your mind and you just lose it. It's like my brain just shut right the fuck down. So
pleasures of being live.
That's right. Just like honey.
Yeah. He infected me with his honey. So yeah, can see why. Right. But I guess Trey, while I'm thinking through it, I guess what's your favorite alcoholic drink and non-alcoholic drink?
I like. I don't really like beer. I like the mixed drinks that taste all really good and stuff. I'm not really a drinker, so I don't really know what any of them are called or what they're made with. But I like the fruity mixed drinks, like cocktails maybe, or what they called. And non-alcoholic, I like probably coffee's my favorite. I'd say I love coffee, all kinds of coffee, drip coffee, espresso coffee, Turkish coffee, American coffee.
You didn't say coffee. Iced coffee. Please tell me you're not one of those weird. Oh man, I love
iced coffee. I don't like black coffee though. But I'm not too much of a white girl either. But I do like the pumpkin spice coffee. So I guess I am white girl too. So,
Oh my god.
Oh man, that would just start getting a little biased out here. No, man. Actually, no. It was almost like there's always something with people who smoke Mary Jane and having a good bit of coffee too. They seem to abuse the coffee more, if anything. So
yeah, I drink like a pot a day sometimes. So
I could do it. And actually, trying to remember what I wanted to say was there was a reference, because I know you mentioned about Scotch. There was a whole thing at South Park when Cartman was pretending he had Tourette's, and he offered Kyle a drink, and he said it was Scotch. He's like, "This isn't Scotch. It is apple juice."
Yeah. Yep.
But they get weird at times here too, but they know South Park does that, keep you entertained.
That is literally my favorite show on the planet. I mean, super, super big kudos to Trey Parker and Matt Stone for having the biggest balls that I have ever seen on a pair of writers, man. Just And the way that they do it is just so subtle. But like, if you know anything, current event wise, which obviously, of course, it's called current events. They've got balls for what they do.
Just hoping to use them as bouncing balls to get into the Mary Jane's store in Colorado.
Yeah, by sticking them in the microwave. Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Speed up the process.
He's like, score.
Yeah.
Oh man. Actually, he made it to a coda towards it. He put that around his wife. So man.
Yeah. The fact they made every woman in South Park love it too. That was.
Hey, I mean, they wanted a piece of that action afterward. So,
Right.
even though I think they would get mouth cancer afterwards.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh man.
Just to be honest, we are weird this way here too. Us guys have some weird habits. So.
Yeah.
Right. But Trey and Chud, we're down to one more question right here. We're actually almost up for 2 hours actually. But I guess before we jump into the last question, did any of you two have any questions for me? Or any final words you want to say before we jump into it? Guess everyone wants to go first.
I honestly didn't think to interview the interviewer. That is
Usually
my bad.
Questions. So.
Yeah.
I think that's true. I got a question. How did Chud reach out to you? Did you reach out to Chud? How did you find out about us and our why are you interested in our music? I'm so grateful.
God, he had to go there, didn't he?
You just had to go that far.
You had to go there, dude.
Well, it's not bad. What? I want to know.
Let's see. Got to find out at the beginning here. I think I had stumbled upon Chud in Band Together, and I don't know if it was one of his anti-religious posts or something like that, because that's normally what he used to post back then. But honestly, I'm not sure. I don't know if he was also doing an interview with somebody else. I don't know. Chud, did you do an interview with Christina and Greg at one point?
No, I definitely want to, and maybe now that they see I could be a little bit more professional than what they started seeing me as, I'd love to do something with them anytime. But no, dude, we've actually been trying to do this since February. You had gotten in contact with me, I think, the end of the year, December, January time, and it was the collab that I was supposed to do that kind of fell through. And I know I didn't want to get on to something like this without being, because anybody can say that they're a musician. I mean, I honestly see it quite often. Not so much the bot accounts, but actual people saying that they're musicians and kind of not being, just to kind of get into the support that we have through Banded Together and all the other indie groups that are out there. So I definitely wanted to have something to show for myself, that I wasn't just hopping on here saying I was a musician. But yeah, we've been wanting to do this since February.
Yeah, I reached out to
Are you from Band Together, Brian?
Did you ask where I'm from?
Are you from the Band Together group?
Yeah, I actually joined, I think it was late 2023. And I think it was after I actually interviewed Christina and Greg, and they told me about their Band Together group. And I joined them. That's how I was able to find a bunch of indie musicians, and I brought a good chunk of them on so far. I think we're stuck at 10.5%.
This isn't part of Band Together's group. You're a separate group that's with them, that's been in contact with them.
I have joined the group. I just do most of my posts through my real under my name on Facebook, I should say. So
cool, gotcha.
I do share my posts on Band Together just to show, like, hey, I interviewed Chud, Wretched, and Trey Thomas today. Come check these boys out.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome. Yeah.
But to kind of go back into the story a little bit, I did reach out to Chud. I think it was last year at some point. I figured, it's 50-50. But I like the name too, so I figured, we'll give it a shot. And,
it's got a certain ring to it, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's appealing, to say the least.
All right.
But I reached out to him, but he kept pushing it back because I guess he really wanted to have some music to kind of go off of. And I guess he kept having troubles here and there or whatever, whatever shows it may be, we'll keep it anonymous.
Time.
And so there was that, and then eventually it finally worked out too, and it was how we got to this point here too, in late July. So it's all good.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Right. I guess did anyone else have anything else, or is it okay we jump into the last question?
Yeah, we could jump in the last one.
Good.
Jade? Oh, okay.
I'm okay. Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure. All right. So here, Chud, you can go first with this one. So given what COVID has done, obviously both of you guys have been pretty blessed, and it seems like Trey, I know you had your little troubles in the beginning there with addiction, and it seems like you've come out better and stronger. And for those musicians who've been impacted by COVID or anything else in their lives, like similar to what Trey had gone through, what sort of message of hope could you give to musicians and people out there as we try to move forward in the post-COVID world?
Man, again, it's got to be from back what I said earlier about just keep going, remembering why you're doing what you're doing, remembering what it took for you to get to this point, whatever that point may be. If you're just starting out, anything like that, it's really, it's all in who you know. Definitely network yourself like crazy. Stand out, but just definitely don't give up. Keep in your mind, fresh in your mind, why you're doing it, and you're not so much doing it to have a fan base. You're not doing it so much to have, money. You're doing it to project what's inside of you out. And as long as you keep your head down, keep moving forward, it's going to pay off in the end. It just, again, that T word again, that time, just the more time you put into it, the better off you're going to wind up being. But obviously, of course, you've got to learn how to prioritize as well. But it does get better. And that's what I got.
That's his 2 cents right there. All right.
Literal just 2 cents. That's all you guys are getting.
That's all I got. Yeah. All right, Trey.
My message of hope would be that there always is hope. And that being said, like there's just to always, even if you don't have anything going on and you want to have something going on, just hold on to that feeling of wanting to have that, and just go with that. Just keep the hope alive. Keep the dream alive. When things seem tough, listen to your favorite song, and that gets you going through the day. That's what it's all about. It's all about just feeling the love and enjoying life, and really taking in those very rare, sometimes seemingly rare moments of serenity, and holding on to that. And there's more of that. There is more of that always. And the more you look for that, the more you will find it. So just keep searching for it. And it's there. That's it. Stay loving, That's all you gotta do, and you'll get where you want to go.
Absolutely. I spoke like a bunch of true prodigies. All right. All right. That's all good. Thank you guys so much for sharing that there too. So, all right. So Chud and Trey, we've reached my podcast right here. We are a little bit shy of 2 hours, but I think when we're editing it, it's going to be a little bit more shorter, but regardless, still great chat nonetheless.
Yeah.
I appreciate the time very much, Brian. Thank you so much. The opportunity, the interest.
I didn't know if he was kind of going into it there, so I just wanted to make sure. Okay. So, I guess before we close out, sorry. What were we going to say, Chud?
Just had a good time. It was super fun. Very first interview I've had since, coming out as a musician. I now identify as a musician. But yeah, no, man, you do great. So I wish nothing but the best for you, and definitely listen to this one because it's a funny one.
That's good. I guess for the audience sake, can you guys just list what social media and streaming platforms you guys are on? I guess if you want to give any shout outs to, go ahead.
Go ahead, Trey. You first. I gotta dig through.
He's got a long list.
I'll go first. I'm on pretty much every platform. I just need to. I don't have every like song and track synced up to everything yet. I've got an account for everything pretty much, but most of all my music and stuff and all my mixes are on SoundCloud. And I want to shout out all. I can't name everybody, but my all my friends, all my family, because they did everything for me. So like my mom, my grandma, my dad, all my friends. I moved from Oregon, so everyone that I know and love back in Oregon, and everyone that I've met out here since I moved to New York, everybody. I want to thank every single one of them. Shout out to everybody.
Chud. I was gonna say, Chud, were you able to look for your book of what you're all on?
Yeah, no, I mean, I first and foremost, I don't even think this opportunity wouldn't have presented itself and been possible without the help from Christina and Greg from Box and Sticks. I definitely owe them a lot. They stuck with me through it all, kind of to where I'm at this point here, with their own hardships going on and stuff like that. But super big shout out to them, because they've just such a good thing for the community, and they're definitely helping people to keep their eyes on the prize, and it's just expressing yourself through music. So many shout outs, man, that I'm gonna just butcher this and forget so many. But I guess in a nutshell, I would have to say big shout out to all the bands who trust me to share unreleased demos. Like, I pretty much wake up every day with a new unreleased track from a band that I interact with. Pharmacide being the biggest one right now. Probably the best group of guys that I've ever gotten the chance to work with. Talented. All of them are just so very talented. I mean, they got Marco, who I think people might know him with, I'm going to probably destroy this too, 6 Feet Under. Just the personalities of those guys are amazing. And, Chris Hudson, he actually does all of his own promo stuff, makes videos. Just the shit that I'm learning from this guy is just amazing. He's doing his own label thing and stuff too. Doesn't stop there. Whack God, check him out. He just dropped a new track called Armageddon, which is absolutely phenomenal, and will blow your mind. But yeah, no, I've got way too many shout outs and people that I interact with on a day-to-day basis that I just cannot say them all. So we will just leave that there. Otherwise, we'll be here another hour. So
yeah. Did you say what social media and a streaming platform you're on?
Yeah, for right now, just because I don't really, again, I'm in this for a completely separate reason than it looks like a lot of musicians come out to be these days. I'm only on Facebook. TikTok scared the absolute shit out of me. So I wasn't on that one very long. Instagram is seeming like it's just another version of Facebook, now with being owned by Meta. So I keep it on Facebook, strictly Facebook for right now, just because I'm doing so much on there to begin with anyway, that adding another platform right now is kind of obsolete. Obviously, of course, once I get some more tracks pumping out and stuff like that, I'll be on SoundCloud first and foremost. Spotify, I probably not, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Again, I'm not so much doing it for money and numbers and stuff like that. I'm just getting my art out there, getting myself out there, making myself better. As narcissistic as that sounds, it kind of is all about me, as you're hearing it all from me.
Now he starts to get selfish.
So the shout out goes to myself, damn it.
Me, myself, and I. That's
Me,
all
this
that matters.
guy.
Oh God, he's turning into Donald Trump.
Wow.
Man. No, you're good. You're good. But
I-
you
I
vote for who you want to. This is upcoming.
I
election,
respect
too.
women way too much to be associated with that man in any way, shape, or form.
Okay, fair enough. So,
Yeah, right.
but I would just fucking with you too, though. So
Yeah, no, I got you.
Okay. But we have to close out like this right here too. So everyone, my guest today was Trey Thomas. We got Chud Wretched. Is it okay to say your real name? Because I think you mentioned in this interview a couple times.
We'll keep it as Chud Wretched. You can
Okay,
call me
Chud Wretched.
Reverend Wretched if you want to keep it formal.
Reverend Wretched. He has now concluded his bass right here. So go in peace. That's all we have to say right there too. But you got Chud Wretched right here. So make sure you guys go hit him up on the socials. Go hit him up on all streaming platforms. Let's go help our brothers out right out there too. So Chud and Trey, I want to wish you all the best going forward there, mate. So I'll stay safe because it's a crazy world out there. You rock on and stay tuned, y'all.
All right, man. You be easy.